Hello, friends. Namaste. Good morning or good evening, everyone. This is Lavanya. I live in Australia. So I'll be the host for this session with divine blessings of Dr. Brahmashi Subhash Patriji and Swarnamala Patriji. Let us start today's session. So I would like you to welcome back to the Divine Breath YouTube channel, PSSM Australia, initiative of Pyramid Spiritual Society movement. Please do subscribe the Divine Breath YouTube channel. So for the past 8 weeks, we are discussing this book called The Untold Story of Sita by Dina Mariam, narrated by our very own Surbhi Batra ma'am from Virginia, USA. So with that, I would like to welcome Surbhi ma'am. Surbhi ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Lavanya ma'am. Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So today we will start our chapter 18, which is Retreat to the Forest. So Mata is going to the forest, and this time she's pregnant. So Soma is continuing her story, and she's telling the story to Ansuya and her mother. So Soma says that Mata knew early on in life that she was carrying two sons, and she was very happy about it because for two reasons, she felt that feeling of being a motherhood was there, of course, so that's why she was happy. And another reason that she was happy is that she was giving birth to two boys, and because she had always felt the love Ramji had for his brothers, and she knew that bond was so important to Ramji, and she felt that her sons will have somebody, right? They won't have to wait for 5 years or 2 years for the second sibling to come along. So the bond will be to be there since pregnancy. So, so Mata always felt that joyness and experience. She felt it while she was pregnant. One night, many months into pregnancy's time, Mata had a vision in pre-dawn hours. She saw Rishi Bhrigu. Rishi Bhrigu was her past life father. Rishi Bhrigu mourning the death of his second wife, Usana. And so Mata was the first wife's daughter in previous birth, and the second one was Usana. And in her visions, she sees that whoever is responsible with Rishi Bhrigu cursed that person. And Mata remembers the whole story, how Narayan and Narayani took upon the curse on themselves. And Khyati was the first wife, and Sita Mata was the daughter to the first wife of Rishi Bhrigu, Khyati. And her and Narayani, they both had accepted the curse. And so Soma felt that some voices were coming out of Mata's room, and she felt that Mata needed help. So she went to check on Mata, and she saw that Mata was awake and she's ready, getting ready the chariot to go somewhere. And she was in a rush, packing some food, some stuff to go with her. And she goes, Mata, why are you looking so in distress? What is going on? Where are you going so early in the hour? Mata says, I have to go to Sage Arundhati. So this is another Rishi, and she will guide me as to what should I do. There was a lot of urgency in her voice, and so I was helping Mata, and Mata was very disturbed. I could see, Soma says, I could see that Mata was disturbed. And so Sage Arundhati was a wife of Rishi Vashishta, and Rishi Vashishta was the guru in the palace of on the Shri Ram's family. And when they reached the hermitage, Mata Arundhati was standing at the gate, and as if she was expecting Mata to be there. And along with the Rishi Arundhati, there was another lady that was standing beside Arundhati. And as soon as Mata saw the lady, her happiness was out of control. And when she quickly ran off the chariot and she hugged that lady. So that lady next to Arundhati was Arundhati's sister, which was also Mata's previous birth mother, Khyati. So when I say all these people, they're not alive, but these people are so advanced in meditation that they can still come back and go, even though they have left their body, they can still come and go to earth and to heavens. And so Mata's mother, Khyati, was not in physical body, but Mata could see her. So as I mentioned, Mata says, Mata went and hugged both the ladies. And Soma says, I still don't understand what was going on and what is the situation was there and why Rishi Arundhati was there with her sister. So Rishi Khyati was a daughter of a great Maharishi, Devhuti, and the first wife, as I mentioned, of Rishi Bhrigu. And Mata said that to her, that I remember, Mata, she was talking to her mother from the previous birth. Yes, mother, I remember that you had weakened the curse but that this time I will have to separate from Ram, and this time will be a partial separation. They will be living separately, but Ramji keeps on visiting her off and on. Like when we see in the stories these days in the Ramayana, that we see that Ram just abandoned her, he sends Lakshman, and he never sees it. Nothing of that. It's totally different. So I would like you guys to really pay attention. So Mata ran her hand across her belly and trying to tell Mata that really, I mean, at this time when I'm pregnant with his kids, do you really want me to leave the palace and come stay in the jungle? And you really think it is the right time that I should keep Ram away from his kids? And Khyati Mata reminded Sita that did you not say recently that you wanted to raise your children as you were raised in the freedom to roam? So at that time, whatever these ladies were so high meditators, whatever they say, it would come true. For us, we have to say it 3 times, 10 times. Other day, I was listening to a video on astral traveling. She said you have to say it 3-4 times to tell the universe that you're ready for astral traveling. Here she says is one and it's done and over with. So Mata is ready for whatever she's manifesting. So she said, yes, I did manifest that, and so that manifestation has to come true. And Khyati Mata reminded her that you wanted your kids to be born and play and roam around in forest, know the life of animal life and the plant as there are. And so Soma says, I'm still confused. What is these women are doing and why she has to come stay in the jungle, especially at this time when she's pregnant. And Mata, then Rishi Arundhati told Mata that yes, the stars are aligned. So astrology was a big thing that back then. And she said that the stars are right in the right conjunction, and this is the time you have to do the separation from Ram. Then later, Mata told Soma that how these 2 women have sacrificed their personal needs, personal importance in the life for the sake of the world. So a little bit background of who Rishi Arundhati was. Rishi Arundhati had sacrificed her sons so that Rishi Vishwamitra could attain liberation and bring benefits to humanity. Rishi Khyati had lost many children in the battle between the Devas and Asuras to bring stability to the celestial world, which they provided stability to the material world. When she saw love and compassion on their faces, she could ask nothing. She's like, oh, my role models are so good. They have done so many good things. How can I ask like Mayor, oh, I don't want to get separated from my husband because I'm pregnant. So for that, that Mata thought that was a very, very small issue to begin with. And Mata felt like, these people have lost their sons in the battle. And this is not, so she was happily, she decided that she will separate at this time. So Mata was also reminded that this separation is not just the result of the curse. It is also service to the humanity. You must steer the education of your children so the values you instill in them will be the foundation for future. Because see, whenever we are living in a palace, if we're living in a good house, moving to a smaller apartment is always difficult. So compare a forest to a apartment and a palace to be a big house, right? So forest life is always going to be harder, and apartment life is going to be better yet if I say village and the city life, right? So village life is going to be always harder than the city life. So Mata always wanted the kids to grow up in a harder lifestyle, so it's easier to go into the easy lifestyle. So Mata always wanted that to her kids to be in like that. So, and she also was reminded that you must help stabilize the earth for changes that are to come as a result of the destructive war. And any war, as I have mentioned so many times, is brings a lot of unsettled energies. And the war between Ram and Ravan had also bring a lot of negative energies up to the level. And she said, you must support the forest life as it is not destroyed as human society expands. So you cannot do any of this from by staying in the palace. For that, you have to come and be with the nature. To help nature, you have to be with nature. Grow plants, see whichever plant is dying, you have to take care of them so you can save them. So you cannot sit in the palace and comforts of the palace. You cannot do all that. So Mata was reminded of all that. To achieve this, he must experience the effects of itself. And sage curses also another reason that Mata wanted to be there, that sage curses served as a purpose in the past era when they had to establish the forward path for the humanity. But the concept of justice was implanted And this was very important in the human mind. That work was done. Ram will now set up the institution to ensure justice by panchayat system, by getting people to be more active in the society. And they will establish law. Like if somebody does something wrong, they will be put in jail, or they will be assigned some service hours or something like that, instead of getting cursed. Because when these rishis were cursing people, they were cursing not only one person. If I committed a crime, not only I will get cursed, but my 5 generations ahead will be cursed. Something what happened to Minakshi. So everybody thought that was very unfair. Kids who are not even born, so basically they're born with a curse on their shoulders. So that's not fair to them. And these society will no longer be needing these curses. As these two great women spoke, Mata remembered the curse of Rishi Bhrigu, how that was dictated between her and Shri Ram. And this separation in Lanka was her choice. She was born for that separation. But this was different. Her and Ram have to go under this pain, and especially when the children are involved. So anytime there was a divorce in the parents, if a couple is divorcing and they have no kids, it's so easy to get it done. Yes, husband-wife emotions are attached. Yes, I agree. But when the children are, when young children are involved, my best friend got a divorce, and I know it affected the children very much. And they're between the two parents, and then both of the couples got remarried. So it really affects. They're settling with two families at the same time. So then Sita mentally got herself prepared. Yes, she will do that. But she said, how am I going to tell Ram that I'm going to be separated at this time when I'm pregnant with his kids? So Rishi Arundhati says, don't worry about that. Rishi Vashisht is already with him right now as we speak. And he will jog out his memory, Ram's memory, and he will bring him soon here. The two women sages laid out how Mata was going to do the work while she's staying there. Soma says, I remember Arundhati's word from now and well in the future. The forest will be under threat. And that is true. Our forests are still under threat. I mean, our environment is really on the downside right now. One day they could even disappear. And yes, a lot of species are disappearing completely from this earth, and barren places like other planets have been stripped of life. So Soma remembers this conversation, and she says, this is very sad. And I agree, this is sad when our environment is suffering a lot. We must establish in human hearts love for the forest, love for the rivers, and that will be sure bring their survival. In freeing the Ravan, Ram has released a quality of love previously unknown to earth. In freeing Ravan, Ram released a quality of love, and also along with the love, there were a lot of weapons that were used. And so those weapons, the effects of these weapons have to be brought back down and like balance it out, because the earth got affected by this. After listening to Rishi Arundhati, Mata was now more comfortable and more willing to assume the responsibility that was in front of her. Soma says she fully saw her relaxed after a few hours when she saw Ramji getting off the chariot with Rishi Vashisht. Ramji was fully aware of the whole situation. And when and he drew Mata to near his chest, and he says, Sita, in Lanka, the bond that kept us together was broken, but this time it will not be broken. It will be a different case. I will never leave you, and you will never leave me. Nothing will separate us again. This is the truth, Ram, but in the human realm, difficulties can arise. See, at this point, they're in a human body. They still have human emotions. So you will see how in the story further going down, they will miss each other's company, companionship. During the day, however we go around about, but at night we need our spouses, because how our day goes by, we want to discuss things, children, work, everything we discuss. With that companionship they were missing. And the food that my wife cooks, so Ramji will miss that. All that, they'll miss that because they are in a human body. Because even though they're gods, they are in a human body. The touch they will miss. And he promised that he will keep on coming. And then he saw, Ramji saw Rishi Khyati around there. He was very grateful to her that she had weakened the curse. That Ramji in previous birth was Narayan, and Sita Mata, which was previously in Narayani in the previous birth. And he was very grateful to her. And she said, Khyati Mata said, how can I not do that, Prabhu? She's talking to Ram. How can I not do that, Prabhu? She's my daughter. No father should have caused so much pain to his own daughter, what my husband did. I have not completely forgotten him, what he did to my daughter. Sita says to Khyati, I am also responsible, Mata. Does anybody know what the incident was, or should I repeat the incident? If somebody joined late and missed that part or not see the recording, I can quickly. They're good. Okay. I'm also responsible for all this. I stood there and did not stop Ram, and that's why, Narayan and previous birth, and that's how Usana died. And I took my complete responsibility for Mata Usana's death. Then Ramji says to Khyati, when Sita and I first left from exile, when Sita and I first left, we rested at a small hermitage where Rishi Bhrigu was there. You must have seen there, Mata. Rishi Bhrigu regretted what the curse he had given. So not only people were suffering for 6 generations, and sometimes when these rishis realized what mistake they made by giving a curse to a innocent 6 generations, they also felt guilty. So now when Rishi Bhrigu found out that he accidentally cursed his own daughter and his own son-in-law, imagine what would have gone in a father's position, on his head, his body, mind. Like, what did I do? He was so distressed. So he says, unless until, they finally get partially separated and join back again and have a happily married life, I will not be able to stay in peace. So Rishi Bhrigu was really regretting this. And there is no place for guilt. When there is a guilt or anger in meditation, you never rise up. You never achieve nirvana. So, and we should not have jealousy. All these negative thoughts will never attain us nirvana. So of course, Rishi Bhrigu was going through that pain. And at this point, Ramji is very happy that finally the time has come where they can be separated and may meet again soon enough, and that way Rishi Bhrigu will be released from his pain. Then Ramji says to Khyati, and now Mata, it's time for you to forgive him. He's doing his part, now your time, because now you have to. So you are the one who is going to help him get to liberation. In the end, you will give your husband the final freedom. As long as you hold the grudges against him, he will not be able to attain that peaceful liberation. His one fault has been corrected. His attachment to Usana long ago has been dissolved. There is no shadow of anger in his being. He is ready for liberation. Then Khyati Ma had tears in her eyes. I will withdraw myself into meditation until I am free from the anger for my husband for what ill will he had done to my daughter, our daughter, I should say. And in doing so, I will free both of us. And with those words, as Khyati Ma's form dissolved and she began to fade away. Rishi Vishesh saw a beaming face to Ram. The curse is the means for the liberation of both Khyati and Rishi Bhrigu. And this will also bring great benefit to the whole universe. And let us go with this express gratitude. And they all sat down for meditation. And while Soma started making food for everybody. Back in the room, Mata asked Soma, what are you thinking while you're cooking? And so she says, Mata, I don't want to be separated from you again. If I have to choose, if you're not. So everybody, Soma is, yes, a meditator, but not high level. So she's like, I'd rather pick death over being separated from you. And because there's no purpose of my life, if I'm not serving you. Mata says, who said that we are separating? Separation is for me and Ram, not for me and you. So she says, oh, I am going with you this time. So she was very excited that Mata is taking her this time with her. And she'd rather be in the jungles with Mata than being sitting in the palaces and away from Mata. And so it was decided Mata would go for a retreat to the hermitage, and the Shri Ram was the one who selected the place, not as the movie show that he sent her in the dawn before everybody wakes, Lakshman, go take my wife and throw her somewhere. Nothing like that happened. Shri Ram selected one not, I have highlighted this paragraph, so I will stress it a lot. Shri Ram selected one not too far, a beautiful forest full of all the wonders that will bring her joy and close to her beloved river Ganga. One evening, they were all sitting down. The Mata was sitting down and her feet were very swollen because of the pregnancy, and she was massaging. Soma was massaging Mata's feet. Shri Ram came and she was wanting to get up to give them a privacy, but Ramji said, sit down. So Soma noticed that what the bond was between husband and wife. She would say something and he would complete the sentence and vice versa. They could feel each other's emotions, each other's thoughts. They could read each other's thoughts. And And then Mata says, "Are you?" And they were holding hands. There was so much love between the two of them. And Mata was like, Ramji then tells to Sita, "The love we have brought into this material realm must now be dispensed to all of us. Our love that we have between the us must be spread around to everybody. One day when we are no longer here, others will need to overcome this separation, this semblance of this separation." And so the new chapter for Mata and Ramji begins. So that ends my chapter 18, and we will start our chapter 19 now. Chapter 19 is Life in the Forest. The first person to visit forest was Ramji's sister, whose name has never been mentioned anywhere. Her name was Shanta, and she was Shri Ram's elder sister. One day, Mata was standing on the cottage door. A woman with the sage's clothes started walking to the path. Mata was very excited. And before Ramji and his brother, Kaushalya Maharani had given birth to a daughter. This Shanta was married to a very great Rishi Ringa. She had to abandon palace life for the Rishi life, for the saint life, because her husband was a saint. And this is very common practice. If a princess was to be married to a Rishi, she would give away all the life and luxuries of the palace to be with her husband. If the husband, basically, if the husband keeps me happy in the palace, I will be there. If he keeps me happy in the hermitage, I'll be there. So that was a very common practice. And nobody spoke about this daughter, but mother, obviously, Kaushalya always missed her daughter. And she always felt that her daughter was always around. During Ram's young ages, Ram always saw Shanta, the sister, in his dreams, and she would guide him a lot. And Ramji idolized his sister, and she was, and they had a very strong bond. Even though they had never met much, he had a very strong bond, because Shanta and Ramji would get connected in the dreams and in their meditative visions. And Shanta says, when I heard of Ram in exile, she wanted to come meet them after they had come back from the exile, but the plans got delayed for her, because at that time there were no cars. Obviously, she was going to walk, and it will take a long time, so she had to plan the whole trip out. And when she found out that Mata has retreated in the forest, so instead of going to the palace, she just came right there. So then she found out that Mata was pregnant. So she was very upset that at this time Mata is taking the retreat to be in the forest when she's pregnant, and obviously the rumors are floating in Ayodhya about how she was kicked out by Ramji. Nothing like that happened, but the rumors were still there. To show the past and present, Mata and Shanta went into meditation. And so Mata showed Shanta the whole how Rishi Bhrigu and the curse, and Shanta cried after she came out of the meditation. And so she goes, "You accepted the curse too? Why did you do that?" And then Mata said, "Why did you quit staying in the palace? You were a princess. Why did you not stay in the palace? You also went and chose the ascetic life, the Rishi's lifestyle with your husband, right? So whatever your husband does, whatever your husband takes a curse or the boon, whatever, it's always the wise part to do. So I took the curse along with my husband." So that was Mata's response. And she also said there are other reasons too. And the other reason is my children will grow up as I did, with the freedom to roam the forest without any palace regulations. And this was very important for my kids. And this training would not be possible in Ayodhya. I want them to live with love and service for the animals as well as plants, as same as the human life. There will be plenty of time for them to know the power of possession later. Shanta says, Mata, she told Sita, the world will benefit from this sacrifice of yours. But it saddens me that Ayodhya does not honor women anymore, because I've heard how you were almost got kicked into the face. And I feel embarrassed that Ayodhya that I grew up is not the same anymore. Like when I go to Delhi now, Delhi is totally changed. I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same when you go back to hometowns. Things are not changed. Everything is so commercialized right now. And Mata says to Shanta, please don't say like that. There is nobody that Ram respects more than you. During our long journey, he spoke often about his brothers with love. But when he talked about you, his tone, his love, everything changed. And and she says that all the 14 years that I was in the exile, I always felt your closeness, you being around me. And Ram also thought of you as often as he could. And he's always said that you were there always to guide him which path to choose, which food, which will be the best place to get food and shelter. You are an idol to him, an idol of what a woman can be. And Ramji even told once to Mata that you are. When I see you, it reminds me of my sister. And I replied that this was the greatest compliment he could ever pay me. Then Sita also told Shanta that Ramji once told him that how she has done such an invisible work and invisible work by staying all this time around with her. And Shanta, isn't that the path? She also told her, Mata also told Shanta, isn't that the path we have chosen to do what needs to be done in the shadows, benefiting the world without any acclamation, any credit. So Mata, whatever Mata worked in was nothing to be credited. She doesn't want, and she says, this is a path of life that we have chosen. We don't want the credit. We just want to serve humanity like just you did for me. He told me that how he used to come into the dreams when he was a child, and this is how he came to know he has the elder sister. Shanta had a broad smile when she thought of Ram and how the love and the bond had developed through years for them. And another thing Shanta had done when Ramji had left for exile, Ram Lakshman had gone, Sita had gone, and Lakshman and Shatrughan and Bharat were at their grandparents' house when the whole exile situation happened. And Ramji felt really consoled about the fact that Shanta was there when the father was ready to die. And so she was there, and at least one child was there near the deathbed of the father. And that Ramji was very grateful to the sister that she traveled a great distance to be enduring many hardships to be with the father who was about to die. And he says he was ever grateful because all the 4 sons were not around him because of Kakai's curse. Not the curse, but the wishes that she wanted from her husband. And your modesty will not allow you to talk about this, all this. And you were a very spiritual person, and all the accomplishments you have. On top of that, when I arrived in Lanka, and during my worst of the ordeal, I saw you among the many great sages who had come to comfort me. So she saw Shanta was a very big meditator as well. So Sita Mata had seen her among all the other women sages that had come to help her, to guard her. Around when Ravan could not touch her just because of all these positive energies around her. And I was there, Sita, Shanta acknowledged. Yes, I was there. One day I was in meditation when I heard Parvati Ma call, and that call rang through all the universe. And I felt like my spirits were rising above my body, and my soul was going out of my body. And my heart followed wherever Parvati Ma was taking. And that's when I ended up near you, near the Ashoka tree. And I tried my best to give all my fruits of meditation so I could protect you from Ravan. And I felt like this was very important for me to do. That is how so many women and whatever pain that you went through, being in Ravan's captivity, as I explained in the past, it was not easy to be with such a high negative energy for Mata to be there. And so Shanta says, whatever you did is not for one woman or the 2 women. Whatever you did, this is how you did it for the whole universe. And that is why many women from different parts of the universe, they seem to come and say thank you to you for all the pain and that Mata went through. And they wanted to, and even the unseen worlds had acknowledged that Mata, whatever she did, was to be praised. And she wanted to get all the darkness away and the light would come out after Ravan's death. Shanta says to Sita, I want you to ask something. Is it possible that until the children are born, can I stay here? And so Sita acknowledges and she says, I'd rather have you than nobody. I love for you to stay. So Shanta was the first one, the Bua. I don't know what you say, Lavanya, in your language. In South India, what do they say? Bua too? Father's sister. So, yeah.
Different
Atta.
Atta. Okay. So Atta was the first one to hold the children. And I have never heard about Shanta in any of the books I have read. Yes, other Rishi Arundhati and all these Khyati, yes, I have seen them in some here and there in the stories, but Shanta I've never heard. So she was the only family member, and Bua, Atta to the kids, who welcomed the kids into this world. And so she was the first one to hold the children after they were born, and both of them enjoyed each other's company, the spiritual debates and everything they enjoyed. And when after a little bit after the later, Urmila, Sita's younger sister, she came to stay with Mata, and that's when Shanta decided that it's best for her to leave, and because she's been out of home for a long time, so she went back. And later, and Mata would only see her one more time before she leaves her body, before she departs the world. So Mata will meet Shanta one more time. Later that night, Mata said to me, the world will forget Shanta. The deeds of her brothers will be remembered, but people will forget Shanta. And she was a very great woman. And the Mata was sad about it, that people will forget about her. And that was true. Whatever Mata said, it was true. No one knows about her. Then one day Ramji came to meet with children. The joy he felt after holding his children. You can all imagine your husband's or your father's holding the grandkids first time. So Ramji felt that same emotion, and the love, it felt like that love was spread through all the three worlds are out there. That's how much love Ram had for his own children. Soma was serving food to them, and then Ansuya says, how did you make this food? Every time I eat this food, it makes me so peaceful. And she says, this is what I have learned from Mata. The food is positive energy. Whenever we cook food, we should cook food with the positive thoughts. And that's how Mata has trained me to do it. Excuse me. The food should feed your spirit as well as your body. The food should be cooked that way that whoever eats that food should cook that food with spirits. Soma says to Ansuya, it took me many years to understand why Mata had been called again to the forest, why she had to undergo this a partial tapasya, you can say, like a meditative, tapasya means being in a meditative state, again for this time from Shri Ram. They both felt and suffered at the pain, but they had to do what they had to do. And Mata would, every time Ramji would visit, Mata would cook food to heal him, and not only body-wise healing, because he was in the war sometimes, or he was mentally disturbed with whatever. He's a king, right? So a lot of things go, the negative urja that he gets around. So Ramji would heal, and he would get peace of mind and to serve him. So Mata always, and whenever he came to visit with Mata, he would discuss the palace problems and all that things that would happen. And Mata again would comfort him with the food. And this is how the time was passing by. And after Mata completely recovered after the birth of the boys, she began to spend more time wandering in the forest, as she used to do when she was a child herself in the Mithila. One day she said, in the future, these species will be gone, and that made her very sad. And that is true. A lot of species have disappeared. Plant species, animal species, a lot of them have disappeared. One day, Mata was walking through the forest. She was talking and speaking to each one of the plants. My friends, you should try talking to your own plants in your garden. You will feel that urja, that energy. Just sit down, especially in the morning hours. I get up 5 in the morning. I take a hot cup of water and I just sit down and talk to my plants as if I'm talking to my 2-year-old daycare kids. You feel like as if they're talking to you, that positive energy. You might find yourself silly. If nothing comes to you, just sing Gayatri Mantra to you, or just say Jai Ganesh, you do something. Or if you're nothing, just smile at them. Just say good morning as if you're saying good morning to your family member. It will really please you and bring that positive energy to yourself. Try it for a few days and you will see an immense change in yourself. And Mata, what you're giving them is why you're giving them so much love. And this is why you are here in the jungle. And so Mata, when Arundhati and Khyati Mata had told her, she would not be able to show them this love from the palace. So she had to be in the nature to help the nature. Mata said, these animals, these trees give me manifestations of love. They are a reflection of the love that sustains and upholds the universe. Humanity once knew this is to be equally forgetting, but everything is being blocked. And, we have to bring the balance in the world. It is my greatest desire to prevent this form happening, and we must give the world more love. So that is why you have been called back, Mata, to the forest. She says, yes. So when she keeps on talking to Mata, Soma keeps on talking to Mata like that. Mata one day thought maybe she's talking so much about the palace. Maybe she's missing the palace and maybe she wants to go back to palace. Mata told her, I said, Mata goes, if you want to go back to the palace, that's fine. I have no problem with it. Soma goes, Mata, I rather stay with you than be in the palace. I don't want to go anywhere else. In fact, after Mata left her body, even Ramji told her, it will be better because you are the only bond. We have seen the boys grow and you can easily settle the kids into the palace. She says, no, I still don't want to go to the palace. So even after Mata left the same place, she made a hut and she started living there. She never returned to the palace, Soma. Mata told Soma that she could not counter the effects of those weapons, but she could feel the pain that was inflicted on the Vasundharama. So Mata was, after the childbirth happened, Mata was still feeling that pain in her body from the Vasundharama, because Mata herself was a part of that. It was that I understand the gravity of the situation, that there's so many reasons Mata had to come back to the forest. Such a war does not occur without leaving an imprint on the humanity and the plant and the animal life. It was Shri Ram's role to plant seeds for the flourishing of a new civilization. It was Mata's work to heal the damage. So Ramji, basically, if you think of it, a man caused all the damage and a woman was there to fix the damage. But that damage that Ramji caused was important to release Rama's energy. He had no choice. So a lot of weapons were used and Mata was there to fix that, heal that damage that had been done before and during the war. We still have 10 minutes. Should I start chapter 20, Lavanya, or just stop right here?
However you feel comfortable, man. Yeah.
Okay. Before I start the chapter 20, I want to say something. Since we're talking about the food, how Mata had been talking, I learned this from another master. So anytime you guys go in the kitchen in the morning, when you wake up, it could be your instant pot, it could be your gas stove or a grill. Facing that direction, pray to the universe and say 5 things. Whoever eats this food, it could be your neighbors, it could be your friends, it could be your housemaid, your house cook. I have my daycare staff, my daycare children, anybody. So whoever eats, whatever food that is cooked, and now food can be cooked by you or your husband or your wives or your parents that are living with you, or even your older kids, or the maids are cooking the food. So whoever cooks this food and whoever consumes this food is spiritually, I can put it in the chat later, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially balanced. So we need all these 5 balances in our life. And now you would say, hey, my child is only 10 years old or 2-year-old. Why do they need to be financially balanced? But at some point of life, we want our children to be financially balanced. We want to manifest these things in their lives. So you should always say that. I can type it later in the chat, or I can text it to Lavanya and Lavanya can put it in the group. Financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually, 5 things, and they should be balanced. We don't want anything extra from universe. We don't want less from the universe. We want everything balanced in our life. So chapter 20, I'll just say it for 5 minutes and then I'll leave the 5 minutes for the question and answers. The last, this chapter, not last chapter, sorry, chapter 20 is the education of love and push. Thank you, Vara sir. For the first few years after the birth of her children, the chapter name is The Education of Love and Push. For the first few years after the birth of her children, Mata fully immersed herself in the caring for them. And Shri Ram came often to meet with her, and he saw children crawling, as I said. We all saw Ramji coming back and forth, going and, building a bridge and being in the palace and coming in the jungle. And he all saw how the kids were starting to explore the forest floor, picking up the little creatures. And of course, Love and Kush had good genes and they were not scared of anything. Mata also wanted them to develop the love for the animals around them. She would make them strong by getting them yoga, getting weightlifting by holding the blocks and everything. She would make them climb the boulders and trees to embark of all kinds of adventures. And they were not scared of anything. Of course, as I said, they were Ram's children. They must come to know their potential. This was the education she gave them early on in life. Soon, people started coming in with Mata with problems and questions because they found that Mata was so knowledgeable about the plant medicine. And they wanted to Mata to give them herbs so Mata could heal them. Mata was so good with the plants, and so she would wander around in jungles to find the right plant, right medication for everybody. And in certain, and at this point there were certain imbalances that were occurring in nature, and sometimes Mata would have hard time finding the some sort of plants, and Mata says that a lot of plants are disappearing, and the condition of these forests were changing. Many species will disappear, but new ones with the same qualities of the plant that is disappearing, they will have the same quality. The new kind of plant will appear. That is the beauty of Vasundharama. If something goes off, she will always find to balance something. After we had been in the forest for a number of years, the sage Chandrika came to visit with her. We all know Chandrika. Chandrika was the lady whose husband went with Sarupnakha. So at this time, she has a young son. And so she came with the young son to visit with Mata. Mata was touched that she had undertaken this long journey on her own with the child in the jungles, and that all kind of inconveniences should just to come say hello to Mata. And how could I not come, Mata, she says, when you have given me such a great blessing of a son. Mata looked at the child and she says, he was a good man. He's a good man, Chandrika, but he still has the pride, and that his pride was hurt by Sarupnakha. And he still has that weak point in his. But the lessons you have provided him, he is going to be strong. But his karmic test will come again. When he grows up, he will tested by his karmas, will test him. He will be tempted again, but this time he will resist because you have given him the right knowledge. He will resist and choose the path of a sage until the end of his life. And he will achieve the realization that evaded him in his past birth. Chandrika was very happy that Mata has given her a son who will be choosing the path of dharma and will support him. And and that way the love that she has for her husband, she can pass on to a child, and that child will help her in many ways. Mata, it is your love that has earned me this opportunity and have given me this love. And the love, and this is very important and a good point, and I'll stop here. Mata told Chandrika that love can moderate karmic conditions. So if we have bad karma with some person, give them love, give them a positive energy, and you will come back to you. I have heard somewhere in one of the Patri Sir's videos, the worst relationship that you have in your life is the relationship that will give you some positive in the end. That positive, that somehow you will get a good fruit out of that relationship. So if any relationship here that you feel, oh, why do I have this person in my life, why do I have this person, there is a reason. The person is trying to teach you something. That is all. Just give them love. The more love you shower, that will soften, and that person will eventually become positive towards you. Your relationship will heal. Just send him love vibes. Just send whoever that person is, him or her, send them love vibes. Give them all the positive energy you can say. Don't say negative about that person. The more negative urja energy you are giving that person, you're feeding into the drama. Don't feed into drama. Just stay positive. I'll stop the chapter here. If anybody has any questions, please go ahead. Thank you for listening to me, masters.
Yes, Surbhi, Masha. So, it's unbelievable. Like Santa is there. Never ever heard. It's the first time hearing. And one more thing, like Ramji's, because of some dhobi, said like, how come you are keeping Sita? That's what we heard, right? And he said, go to the jungle, but never think like, it's so confusing. Like, which one is right? Which one?
That's so this is the vision of Dina Mariam ma'am, and she I posted an interview. I had sent it to Lavanya ma'am, and she had posted in your group, and I sent it to you directly. So Dina Mariam ma'am, she sees all this in her vision, and when you see a vision, it's right there that is happening. So frankly speaking, my father, if I talk to her, yes, he will say, no, I believe in Ramanand Ramayana Sagar or Valmiki Ramayana Sagar, but I have started believing this. Or maybe I have read it 10 times and my unconscious mind has also started believing it.
Which one is the right? This is the right story or that is the right story? Because till now, past,
whatever your heart believes, that's what Patri sir says, never analyze anything. So he says not to analyze visions or dreams, but I'll say don't analyze the story, just enjoy, go with the flow, see what is the
I feel like this is much better rather than what we are hearing.
Yes.
Till I never ever knew this.
Do you think a person like Ram, a husband like Ram, can even doubt his wife for a second?
No.
So that's what it is. He's a god. And, yes, if it was a mere, like my husband or your husband, a mere human body, yes, I can say, if I am spending a night in someone else's house, he will doubt me, because they're mere in a human body. But he's a god. How can he do that? But yes, you might say that, yes, he might be affected by karma. But then if karma was affected and Ram, let's say 1%, Ram doubted Sita because of the karma. But the love that can change karma, the love that Sita had for Ram, do you think that he would be in a position to doubt her? Yes, I as you said, I believe this story better version of Ramayana. So I have more faith in the story. Thank you, Chandrakala ji. Thank you, Varaji.
Okay.
Did I answer your question, Rama?
Yes. It's a lot of confusion. So, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If I never heard this one, from lifelong I thought that's the true story, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Good. I have one more thing to ask you.
Yes.
This, as you were saying, we are doing meditation, we will know our future, what we had before. But
you mean past life?
Past life.
Yeah.
But in this, that's the story, long before they knew, because they are rishis and they are but even though whatever we do, we cannot reach that.
There are meditators that I know, they have seen their past lives.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have seen 3 of mine.
Oh, you have seen?
I have seen 3 of mine.
Really?
And me too.
Okay. Thank you, Vara sir, for helping me understand her, because she's my friend. She might doubt me, but at least she will not doubt you.
No, I don't have doubt.
I'm just kidding.
No,
Thank you.
No.
I am kidding. I'm kidding.
I have seen you, and I'm so thankful you too.
One of my younger sister goes with another. She follows another group, and this is how she has told me, and that this is the difference between the vision and the past life. When you have a past life, like pain that we undergo with the childbirth, the lower pain, somebody putting a sharp pencil in our lower back. That's the pain when you have while you're having that vision. That's how you know it's your past life and not a vision itself. That's what she told me. I don't know how far it's true or not, but yes, the 3 times I had these visions, I had that sharp pain. I don't know, it was in my head because she told me, and that's why I felt the pain. But yes, I could feel the pain even after the meditation was over.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Vara sir, did you feel any of that when you saw your past life?
Yes, and I could also see some kind of evidence that was linking to one of the life to the current one.
Okay.
And one companion I've been seeing in this life also.
Okay.
So that's all I can say about that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Vara sir.
Yeah, and I have a question. So since I opened my mic, this question may upset, but I wanted to know. Okay, the question mostly related to the nature. Of course, what I mean, the nature is including everyone,
Yes.
So there are 2 questions.
Yes.
So only one letter is difference between those 2 questions.
Yes.
and you can say the answer in between those two.
Yes.
Okay. So
I'll
the
try my
question
best.
is, yeah, sure. I'm sure you will. तो आप ऐसा कहिए कि सभी लोगों को मन पसंद होने के लिए चमत्कार से कहिए, आप जो भी कहना है. So what made the nature to be with the nature in those days, and what makes the nature these days to be with the materialistic?
Yes.
to
That's
be
true.
with,
That's true.
and,
I agree. I
and
agree with you.
makes the men to drive nuts
Yes.
and get the things out of, and then just to go merry-go-round.
Yes, that's what we are doing. We go to work, it's a merry-go-round, come home, sleep, nothing is going on. But back then people were actually putting their effort. Gardening was there, farming was there, they're giving by touching the soil, they're doing grounding without even doing meditation. People were doing grounding and their spirits were so high. And that's why thoda sa COVID aaya, everybody is like, little bit COVID happened and everybody lost, a lot of lives got lost. And because the environment got stirred up and chemicals are everywhere, because COVID is a result of some sort of a chemical reaction. The food has so much chemical in it. We are really thinking, are we in the labels of organic? We are eating, are they actually organic? And eat this, don't eat this, drink the hump cow milk, A2 milk, this milk, and there's so much chemical everywhere. There's all marketing fundas going on. It's really hard because no one wants to step out of the nature. Nobody actually wants to go sit in the nature. Oh, we are too busy. By the time we come home, it's 6 o'clock and we have to cook. We don't have to sit in that time. And so only the weekends are the.
Yeah. Of course, and I go back to the question, like, the nature, I think at the beginning you have mentioned that when Shanta ji, Ram's sister, was going to the jungle and there was a question, why you are here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And similarly, you want to be with the nature, and she was living very happily in the palace.
Yes.
With so many people, right from you get up from the bed and then till you sleep, right?
Everybody serving her, yes. Yeah.
And woman is nature. And
yes, woman is nature.
Going
yes.
to and the jungle, it is a nature.
Yes.
Love to be, and then even everything is a nature. What we see, what we can't see, it is a nature. It's God's creation.
It's a God's creation. Yes, true, very true. Yes, sir. Thank you.
And they love to be with that, and they enjoyed there.
Yes.
And today, it is entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
And without the remote, I can't change my channel.
Yeah.
I don't want to move.
People don't want to get up. They don't want to move. Exactly.
and popcorn तो हाथ में आना ही है. वो भी कोई भी लेके आए तो फिर मजा आएगा.
Yeah. That's true.
So I'm just saying that it is, and also you have mentioned about while cooking, whether it's a female or a male cooking, what and how it has to go with.
Yes.
And what it needs to go with into the others' lives, whoever try to enjoy. Then of course it adds a value, and it was there right from the beginning. I have seen with my own eyes.
Yes.
And today it is different. Pizza, burger, and all outgoings. Yeah. Once in a while it is okay, but not. That is the lifestyle. It is changed now.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
So,
I agree.
And when you said the marketing, yes, everything is driven for a particular thing, and everything is because of the money. Money is the one which is killing everyone.
Yes, exactly. We are all running after the money.
And marketing ke liye, why I had to say some, which is not there and it is there, and then I'm trying to sell the product, the advertisement, all these, because I want to make money.
Yes, exactly.
So that is the reason. And why do I want money? Because I want luxuries. I want this and I want that.
Yes.
So there is no limit for I and wanted.
Yes, definitely.
So this is what I was just thinking. What was the life in those days, and and now it is entirely different. And the jungles were, cropped, and then the constructions are everywhere and so much. I mean, we don't really need that much, and not whatever the population we have, everywhere in every country.
Yeah.
And maybe some plus or minus, but not too much of construction. And that is because they want to make money and they want to be rich all the time. They want to maintain, they want to trouble the lower end people.
Yes.
Yeah, बस इतना ही कहना है मेरे से.
Thank you. आपने माइक खोला सर, आपने हमसे बातें किया. That was really nice of you. Thank you so much. I forgot that.
मेरा सौभाग्य है तो बात करना ही था तो कर लीजिए.
Thank you sir. Thank you so much. I forgot the 5th point: physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. There was one more. 5 of them: physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I was like, E se kya tha? I forgot. Emotionally. Please, balanced. ये भी balanced word important है. Thank you, Rama.
No problem.
Any other questions, masters?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. We can wrap up the session.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rama.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.